Hi everybody, welcome along to this focus yoga video. Today we're looking at the beautiful, and they call it the queen of poses, triangle pose. It's a leg strengthening pose. It does a whole heap of other things. I'm going to let you know what it does. My name is Sally, I'm hosting. This is my channel, Sally's Sweet Life. This is for teachers and anyone else really who's doing a little bit of yoga in your life. You might like to subscribe to my channel if you're a teacher and you're wanting to know a little bit more about how to teach poses well. Let's get straight into the content. The traditional Sanskrit name for this particular pose is Utthita Trikonasana. Utthita means extended, tri means three, kona means angle, and asana means pose. Extended triangle pose, Utthita Trikonasana. But layman's terms is just triangle pose. Let's get into it. Now it's a warrior pose, and warriors, well, every single pose actually starts from the ground up, and we want to get a great foundation. So you need to figure out where your feet are, and I love using my own body as a gauge as to how far apart my feet are or what's going on in any of the yoga poses. And here's how you do it. If you start with your toes toward me or toes to the front and extend your arms out wide, and you kind of shuffle your feet so that they are in between the elbow and the wrist. This is how I come into it, and it gives me a really great strong foundation. You've got your feet wide. We're going to work to the right first. So we turn whatever direction you're turning. You have to turn that foot exactly 90 degrees. That's an easy estimate, isn't it? It's just shooting to the very top end of the mat. This foot, you can kick the heel out if you want to. It's going to widen the stance, or you could pull the toes in, but it needs to be angled also toward the right. Here's the important bit. This foot, this heel direction wants to be in line with this foot. Otherwise, it's very difficult to get a great harvesting of strength in this pose because our legs are straight. So what you want to do is angle the heel. I always say point the heel toward the arch of the back foot. And because our legs are straight, we get to kick the hip open toward the back edge of this foot, the left foot, and then just kind of soften that foot. Now, can you feel it in this knee or behind the knee? The option is to soften, but what I'm wanting you to really do is to focus and learn how to use the muscles in this leg. Your front leg, which is our right leg, does two really important things. It presses into the floor to drive the energy up to this hip. I can pull and meet it with this hip pulling up. The other thing that happens, so there's this lengthening, but the second thing that happens is there's a pull under the arch of the foot. And that's going to really change the feel of the power in that one leg. So the energy is driving up to this hip. Let's talk about the back leg. The back seam of the foot is soft. Yeah, and then pull up under the arch of that foot again to start lifting up to this hip. So the whole energy pulls to here. Can you feel it? It's amazing, isn't it? Now, what we want to do is, I'm already there. Let's extend your arms first. Take a nice deep breath in and start to lengthen as far as you can, and I can start to feel this really intensely on the inner seam of that leg. If this knee is hurting in below the kneecap, you can micro bend, but really you want to be, what's happened is that you've softened and you're collapsing into that knee. So you need to really keep the legs really strong, and even just doing this with your hands on your hips is a wonderful starting point, and it's going to help you to support you in this pose. If you're ready for the arms though, we slide right across and then angle them, hand on the shoulder, sorry about the mic thing, on the hand. Ooh, I'm going to switch sides. Do you want to? It's so intense. So I'm just going to turn. Now, if you go to a yoga book, right, like Light on Yoga, which is one of the yoga manuals that I had when I was in training, written by BKS Iyengar, who was an absolute foundation when it came to alignment in yoga poses. And he was amazing when it came to yoga. He says, oh yeah, you just take that bottom hand and stick it right on the floor, but that's not achievable for everybody. And generally when you see people do that, they do this. See how I'm turning the torso? That's a really common error. It's a side pose. It's all on the side. So once you extend as far as you can go, then just windmill the arms and you'll kind of know where you need to be. Let's talk about this arm down here. Because I can't get it to the floor, that's why they have props in yoga, right? The blocks, perfect. You could use a block if you're at home. I don't have a block. We don't embody balance, that's for sure. And I don't want to put too much pressure on the leg. If you're almost there and you're around the ankle, I could put my fingertips down there, no worries. But if I'm around about here or even higher up, what I want to do is bring the hand in front, just gently press into the leg, which is going to do two wonderful things. It's going to anchor and bind my arm to take the pressure out of the legs and more into the core as I rotate, number two, upward toward the roof, because there's this beautiful rotation through the torso. If that just feels, because you don't have the support of the floor and the leg is not enough, try here. Try putting your hand on your hip. That feels really nice too, and it kind of emphasizes the extension power line through the leg. So maybe you're here. Let's talk about your torso a little bit. The torso generally will start off in line with the hip. Remember we talked about this with the hip? Well, your torso is going to be there to start. You have to consciously open it up, and as you revolve it, you'll start to feel it more, the stretch in this particular leg. The torso does kind of a few things. The most important thing when you're in the pose is that revolving. So you could use the hand, you could use your eye gaze toward the roof or to the horizon. But you also want to be pulling and extending your torso away from your hip. That's a really big part of this pose. Long leg length, long rotating spine, and open arms. Ideally, here's what you're aiming for. The back of your legs are in line with your hips, that are in line with the back of your chest. So it's not here, it's here. It's a really full-on pose. It's all about leg strength. Yes, it tones the leg muscles. It also helps to relieve stiffness and soreness in the legs. That's really great. It can, if you're looking up, relieve stiffness in the neck. So you have this full range to look through. Easier on the floor. A little harder on the horizon in terms of balancing, and a little bit harder as we look up. It can even help to develop your legs in a more even and balanced way. It can help you with any backache. It also helps to strengthen your ankles and also helps to develop your chest. The rotating, the opening, the expanding, right? Oh, one more thing I wanted to tell you. I'm going to switch over. How do we breathe in this pose? Well, all yoga breathing is generally through the nose. So we want to inhale through the nose to your heart. So you visualize, and that's going to help you pull the muscles up toward the hip. And as you come right into the heart space, you exhale through the arms and out your head. Inhale, exhale. Such a big pose. There are 3 triangles, just finally, before I leave you. 3 triangles to look for. 1, 2, and from top fingers to bottom feet, 3. Good luck. I hope this helps with your practice today, and I hope to see you again in another video. Bye.